And that's the thing too that Calstar always has been is you guys have never, nothing is ever willing to sacrifice. Like nothing comes out of there if it's not a perfect Calstar rod. I mean, to the point of fault where something really would be fine or really would fish fine, but if it's not straight as an arrow, if it's not perfect guide, if it's not perfect component, if it doesn't bend exactly the way it's supposed to, it just doesn't ever get a Calstar label or go out the door. I mean, to a fault, to the point where there's things that would be perfectly fine, but they're just not, they're not truly perfect. And so it doesn't ever get the label on it.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun. Just think about Mark Wish called in. We're talking about the GG 270, right? And so over the weekend, I text John, and on Monday we're cutting patterns. We're back on the mandrel. We roll the rod, and it's out of the oven on was it Tuesday afternoon or Wednesday?
Wow!
Made four prototypes. Went back in again, and any one of those 4 prototypes would have worked great. They felt all right, and then we've had one. This one really feels like this is how we want it to feel on the flex and the weight of the blank. Went back in again, and I was visiting Mark yesterday. I wanted to show him both the early prototype and then their early production rod.
That's so cool.
Still in the sanding. So yeah, we expect to have those out right away. But it's about feeling that and making it right.
I think that's what's so cool about, like you said, Pete, about where you guys are at right now is that there was a want and a desire. We've had small bait again, and all of a sudden small bait is it's on everybody's mind. And there was a time for a little bit this season where we got a flash of like what it could be and will be like when we eventually make the switch, and the cycle swings back around to Cho. Fortunately, right now the bait situation is all the way
Very
back
good.
to normal. Great,
Great.
ample size, ample bait. But it was the first flash this year where everybody's like, oh yeah, that's going to be a thing. And it was 1 week. Mark made that note, like, man, you know what the perfect Chovy rod would be? A 270 regular GG, not the heavy, but a regular. It was 1 week, and they had the blank made. Like, it's so cool.
Yeah, we brought some of those early prototypes to you guys, and we left them in the shop. I was on the Shogun for 3 days, so like, okay, check these out, give me some feedback on these, and tell me what you guys think. And we all agreed on the same model, as a matter of fact. So it's gonna be good.
Our problem was exactly what you stated too. There was one that was a clear favorite, but the other was great too. We all said the same thing. Well, if this is what you came out with, we'd be very, very happy. But the other one's even better. That kind of thing. And that becomes a little bit of the problem, and I'm sure even more so on your guys' side of things is, when you're in the prototype phase of rods, like John doesn't build a bad one. They're all good. So trying to decide which is the best of 3 or 4 good options, it kind of becomes a little hard. And, the way Chris pulls is a little bit different than the way John does and a little bit different from the way Rick does. So yeah, I'm sure that's not the easiest go around, but I know there's a network of Calstar family that just sure loves what's going on.
That's what we do. I like to get out and ask questions, listen to people, because it's just not my opinion, but it's a community of experts that we talk to.
So when rods are being built, John, how do the people, I know you've learned from your dad, you communicate with the anglers,
Right.
like John
From you
and
guys.
everybody else.
That's how we do it.
How do you take that information and create a rod?
Oh, okay. Basically, you get the idea, right? And then you make something to that, and you might make 2 or 3 variants of that, just like we did with the GG 270-8. And then we take it to you guys, and we let people pull on it, and then we get feedback from them. We come back, we move some patterns around, up or down, move it up or down on the mandrel to get the desired effect out of it. And then bring it back and try it again. Maybe wrap it up and go fish it,
Yeah.
And gets like we are right now. We have a few rods on a few different boats right now that they've been, and you fish them over a little bit of time with different anglers,
Sure.
and you get a better idea of what they really want.
So explain that to the layman like myself, that when you move material up and down in the mandrel, explain that how that rod construction works.
If you move like a 270, let's just use this for an example. A 270 and a 196.7. Speaking in old school.
So those are 7-foot bait rods.
Right. Yeah. The only difference between the two is the 270 is moved 5 inches back on the mandrel.
The glass?
That glass is all the same.
Glass is all the same.
Same thing with a 700.
So explain that. It moves
Same
5
with-
inches back. So you basically, when you set it up,
It makes it a little more powerful.
A little more powerful. I get it. Okay.
It's
Same-
a tapered mandrel, so you get a
It's
little
tapered.
better, bigger diameter, and
Gotcha.
that changes
Okay.
the action.
I had
That's
no
gonna
idea
change-
that.
Yeah. I'll give you another one. 700L, 700M. 700L, 700M are exactly the same.
No
They're
way.
just in a different position on the mandrel.
I would have never thought that. And the mandrel is basically the steel
The
rod
tooling
that
that we use
that
to
you-
wrap the patterns of graphite glass around and adhere them to
Really?
the mandrel. And
same layup, same material, same everything, just up or down on that tapered steel tube makes the
Right.
rod heavier or lighter.
I don't want to give too much.
Yeah,
away.
yeah. No,
Yeah,
worries.
I
No,
know we're
that.
giving away all
I
the
know,
family
nor
secrets here.
should you, but I'm fascinated by that. That's awesome. I did not know that
But
at
that
all.
should explain it a little bit.
It
right?
does.
So-
Yeah.
And that's the simplest version.
Sure.
A lot of times you have to cut a pattern a little shorter, make it a little wider, move it a little bit inside the group of patterns to change the effect. That's just a simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that fascinates me, and I think it speaks exactly to what you're saying, Pete. Is nobody in the world is better than Leon and John as well at like taking that feedback of a Tim Ekstrom saying, "Man, this rod is great," but if it shut off just a little bit farther forward, like it bends down to the 4th guide, if it bent to the 3rd guide or whatever that might be, nobody in the world is better. Was Leon and is currently John at taking that and being, okay, cool. I can achieve that by then doing this. And then, man, you snap your finger and the next variant comes out and it's exactly that way. Like
It's
they're
truly a custom rod.
They're so
Yeah.
good at just taking that feedback of like, man, I wish it rolled back a little farther into the rod, and just nobody's better at hearing that and then producing it with the material like these two guys are. It's just, it's why Calstar is Calstar.
And they're all made one at a time, right? One at
Yeah.
a time.
Well, in batches of 12 generally.
Batches of 12.
Batches of 12.
Yep.
Big batches of 12, right?
but still laid
Yeah.
by hand
By
in
hand,
California.
whatever.
Everything is made right there in your shop.
in our factory in Gardena.
Yeah.
Most
Wow.
people that take a tour through the shop are amazed at how much labor is involved.
Yeah.
How many times we're touching this part?
I'll bet.
Yeah.
know,
How
each
long
part.
does it take you to build that rod? Just in man hours.
Oh wow.
Have you ever figured that out?
Somewhere in the past I have, and it when you start doing that, it was like when we're trying to get numbers crunching,
Right.
And that doesn't really. I mean,
Every day
you
is
need
different.
to do that, right?
Yeah.
But also, this batch might be different than the next batch.
Gotcha.
We might be a little bit rougher, and might need a little more attention, more man hours to make this right,
Yeah.
to get the finish right.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
it's hard to do.
What's the more time consuming process, laying up in the mandrel or the finishing of the rod?
The time consuming is going to be from the time the blank is out of the oven till it is out the door. The process up to that is not as time consuming.
Not as time consuming as
I
finishing.
consider everything outside the oven, after the oven, is in the finishing process.
Yeah. Okay.
Everything before that is the manufacturing of the blank itself.
Chris, why do you think that custom rod builders all want Calstar blanks? What's it about?
Well, I could speak to myself.
Yeah.
I put a lot of labor when I wrap a rod, and I don't want to put it on a crappy blank. It's
Yeah.
not going to perform well. It's going to break right away.
Sure. Absolutely.
So I go back to the point where I've only used Calstar, and when I had a chance to choose other rods or other brands, it's like, why take a chance? Why go to something that's a lesser product? So
yeah.
I think that's that's part of it, and they understand that the quality is going to be consistent. We stand behind the product.
I can take my radio show hat off and put my tackle store hat on for a second and know when we're building a set of rods for a boat or a yacht, or somebody comes in and they bought a brand new boat and they're wanting to build a set of rods. We talked about it with Pete Grossbeck last week. We know that when we order a bunch of Calstar blanks, everyone is going to be identical, both in the way that they pull and the way that they look and the height. And when you build a set of 5 rods or a set of 50 rods, when all of those are bundled together, everything is going to be identical. The height, the tip size, the butt diameter, everything is always perfect. And not every competitor of theirs is the same way. And a Calstar, they're perfect every single time.
Yeah.
And that really
Quality
shows,
control, right?
It really shows when
Sure,
you've got a set of rods. When you try to build somebody, hey, we're going to get you 4 of these 40-pound 8-foot bait rods. And if you build them on maybe a lesser quality blank, this one is an inch taller and this one's a half an inch shorter, and the bundles together and it shows and the quality of Calstar is perfect always.
Yeah. What, Chris, you fish a lot and fish a lot of long range.
Always fish more,
you're
but
going
yeah.
on the Royal Star. Yeah. What's your favorite rod? I mean, you've been using Calstar rods for decades.
Yeah.
What's your in your arsenal?
One
And
favorite,
you
man.
must have some kind of arsenal. What's your if you're going fishing and you're not, let's just say you're fishing on a 3-day on the Royal Star like
Yep.
you are this week. What's your go-to 4-rod setup?
Oh, that's a tough question. but let me say that the 875H is my favorite 40-pound rod, and you'll hear Taro say the same thing, right? A lot of guys will say 875H is their favorite 40-pound rod, and that goes with me on every trip, even if on a 15 or 16-day trip. Right? I'll use that to make bait.
Is that the GG or is that the?
No, it's a Graphiter.
It's a Graphiter.
Graphiter, yeah, GF. Well, in the
GF
factory rod, it'd be called a
875.
GFGR 875H.
Okay.
7.5 foot. And that family of rods is really my favorite, right? I fish an 875 XH for 50. I fish a double XH for 60. I have friends that fish that same 875 double XH for 130 pound, but I fish it with 60, and I could fish it up to 80 if I want. And I think last show I said my favorite rod that I use a lot on 100 pound is the 775 H or XH, and I fish the H with 100 pound.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's got plenty there.
Yeah.
And I fish a lot of drag at full when the fish is at circle. I fish a lot of drag, and that rod's fine.
Like how
I
much
move
drag?
the rod.
How much drag?
Well, typically I'm at 45 to 50, 45 with 100 pounds and 50 pounds at with 130 or better. And you have to use it to get elephant up.
Yeah.
They just don't come up if you are too soft.
Your favorite kind of fishing? You want to go on a trip? You want to go target one fish? What is that?
For me, it's big tuna. It's either big yellowfin down below, or I was just at PEI. That's a pretty cool fish around those big bluefin. I like that a lot.
You sent us those pictures. We shared that on our Facebook page. And I want to throw out a big thank you to Wayne Cotto, who is our new added co-host here on Let's Talk Hookup. And he is doing a lot of our social media now, which is great because I don't have the comprehension or the time to do that.
Yeah, we're terrible
Rick
at
doesn't
it.
either. And Wayne is really good at it. So he says, let me take it over. I said, hey,
deal.
Oh, man,
Can't take it back now.
He's doing a fantastic
he
job. But he posted that picture and it got some pretty amazing reactions. So
that thing was so huge, dude.
Yeah. And you were able to take it because they used a tag. Why is that? Tell us about that.
They each boat or each captain is allowed 2 tags a year where they could harvest a fish, and but it's a very sustainable fishery, right? Everything else is catch and release. When we went there, we had expectation of catch and release, but they're looking at the market. So they said, well, Spain and the Mediterranean starts putting more bluefin in the market in September or so, and then the pen boats here or the pens here, they start releasing more fish later in the year. So they're thinking, well, we got it. Let's use it today. If we get a big fish, we're going to use the tag today. I'm like, that's awesome.
Great.
I'm like super excited.
Yeah.
So my first day fishing, I got and released 500, and then the same day I took over my buddy's fish, had to land that. That was a 600, and then the next day we had the tag. I was up and I got that 636. So super fortunate. 636.
That thing was huge.
Yeah. They vary a lot in how they fight.
So curious.
There are easier fish and there's tougher fish, and the captains are real clear about that. We see a big variance of fish. They get on herring, they're stuffed full of herring. Those are generally very easy fish.
Okay.
Get lazy and they just come right up. Sometimes we're getting them all on live mackerel. Sometimes they're like open water fish, they get tough. And that was 2 hours and 8 minutes. A really tough battle, but it was really rewarding in the end.
What's
Super
the
cool.
tackle like when you're pulling on a 630-pound fish?
Yeah.
They fish mostly when we're fishing stand up. We fish 80s. I had my 80 narrow with me.
Wow.
So same reel I use out here. Worked great.
And the rod?
what's interesting, they fish all Calstars on there.
Uh-huh.
And it's all the experience of these guys are, he told me, Greg Norton told me, this is the graveyard of rods. We only fish Calstar now. So that's why Calstar fishes, we ship so much heavy glass to the Northeast.
Glass.
Heavy glass, all glass. That's what they want. That is the most durable. Again, you know that.
So these are all custom rods that you build and design.
No, we sell them blanks, and they all have their formulas of what they cut off the butt and what they cut off the tip. And on tight line, they love the Boomer, and they love the 7455 double XH. But we were talking about the 655 double XH and other blanks we could give them. The BRTs would work for them. I think I landed that 636 on cut 7455 double XH. So, but I know I'm fishing a Calstar when I'm fishing up there anyway. So I didn't even pack a rod. I said, let's use your rod. It's got the bent butt, the adjustable bent butt, all stand up. Part of the experience.
What pound test and liter and all that?
It's like 150.
150.
150. Yeah.
And 150 liter too?
Yep, 150 or 200 liter, kind of whether they're fishing the kite or not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
And is it all? Bites. Is it a belt and harness? Is it a fighting chair? Is it in the gunnel? Is it a mix of everything?
We are all belt and harness.
Okay,
for sure.
Wow.
But they do gunnel fishing, and they have separate set of rods that they use for gunnel fishing. Those are longer. They use 130s for those, but that's not what we wanted to do.
Yeah,
we were pretty clear. Look, we have to hook our own fish. We're going to land our own fish. We're not. There's none of this other stuff like that. It's same guys that Cal and Eric fish with.
Okay, cool.
Wow. Well, as you can hear, we have a great show lined up for today. A lot to talk about here with Calstar. And like I said, Chris and John came bearing a beautiful gift.
Man, you're not kidding. It just I geek out on this show so much. You know, these are the guys that build the coolest toys in the whole world. And we're gonna have a lot of fun talking to them about it, talking Calstar and helping you. I mean, what an opportunity to talk to the very best in the whole game when it comes to rods and rod information. And we're just so proud to have that today, and so proud for all of our listening audience to get a chance to talk to these two gurus. And boy, if you want a chance to join us this morning, we would love to hear from you. Give us a call at 833-288-0973. Again, 833-288-0973 is how you reach us on the fan here this morning, or send us a text. Man, my phone has been dinging all morning. Already a bunch of great text coming through. If you want to text in a question to the show, the only way to do that is through the Let's Talk Hookup app. It's a free download if you don't have it already. It's the easiest way to listen to Let's Talk Hookup, catch up all the past shows. And if you're not able to catch all of this one, you'll be able to listen to the entire show on the archive through the Let's Talk Hookup app. And again, it is the only way to text in your questions. If you do send in a question to John or to Chris, make sure you include your contact info. Just a name and a phone number is all we need, because if you win the big prize at the end of the show today, we want to make sure to get it to you. And what a prize this is. And man, a huge thanks to the generosity of the whole team from Calstar. One lucky caller or texter, and as always, that'll be decided with a coin flip at the end of the show, whether this prize goes to a caller or a texter, is going to win a brand new Calstar 700 ML rod, an absolutely perfect state-of-the-art rod. It's a 7-foot, great live bait rod. It'd be a perfect rod for taking right now and taking advantage of that yellowfin tuna that just slid up the coast here. We've got some great yellowfin fishing. That was a huge bonus to our fleet.
Yeah.
You know, excited for what's going to be to come here in our late summer and early fall. And man, a 700 ml is just such a fantastic rod. Maybe explain to us what a 700 ml is like, Chris.
I think it's a great 25-pound rod. That's one of my favorite 25-pound rods. 7 foot, you know, it's a classic Calstar Graphiter.
Love
7
that
foot.
rod.
Yeah.
Soft
my favorite rods.
Cast a bait great. Lots of backbone. It's one of those perfect rods that if you're fishing 25 and you hook the wrong fish at the right time, you still got plenty of rod to deal with it. It's just
put a small Trinidad on it.
Totally.
Perfect.
Trinidad 16, maybe.
Trinidad 16,
I love it.
Right.
Yeah, a really, really cool prize, and we're so proud to get to give that away. Again, one lucky caller or texter at the end of the show today is going to win that fantastic rod. If you want to get your chance to get through, it's 833-288-0973. And when we come back, we're going to be taking your phone calls. We've got great catch reports today. You stay tuned. It's going to be a fun one. You're listening to Southern California's sport fishing voice. This is Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app, Facebook and YouTube Live, and 97.3 The Fan.
Looking for the ultimate Alaska fishing experience and the best value in Alaska? Look no further than Kingfisher Charters in Sitka, Alaska. A trip to Kingfisher includes everything you need to make your experience legendary. The finest fishing fleet in Sitka with the best captains, deluxe accommodations, gourmet food, world-class fish processing, and the best part, it's all included for one amazing price. Kingfisher is Let's Talk Hookup's most popular destination. Hundreds of listeners have experienced Kingfisher Charters, and most go back again and again. You have probably heard a lot of big promises from other Alaska lodges, only to find there were lots of hidden charges. Not Kingfisher. Everything is included. 10-hour fishing days, your license, fish processing, super deluxe accommodations, amazing food, airport transfers, and fishing gear. All you bring is your layer clothing, and Kingfisher covers the rest. Kingfisher Charters, your Alaska fishing destination. 800-727-6136 or check kingfishercharters.com.
3 kayaks, 6 surfboards, 10 rods, and 1 truck bound for Baja. That's where my brother and I's most recent quest into the Baja Peninsula began, in search of waves, fish, and fun. We are able to transport all the kayaks, rods, and boards without straps due to the easy transportation of the Hobie iTrack inflatable kayaks. We brought a tandem and 2 singles, the I-9 and 11, and they were totally enough to get all 6 of the boys onto some of the best halibut and grouper fishing of their lives. Now, you might be thinking, 3 kayaks? I thought a tandem and 2 singles would only be able to fit 4 people. Well, a simple lawn chair on the back of the kayak was enough to turn the 2 single kayaks into tandems. Catching upwards of 100 fish a day in the mangroves, ranging from 15-pound grouper to tons of legal halibut, we had our fill and headed back to the States. Check out the full video of this trip on our YouTube channel, Fastlane SC, or come by our shop in Mission Bay and check out a Hobie inflatable kayak. See you soon.
Hi, this is Christy Wheeler with Dawson and Associates Insurance, your full-service agency specializing in boat insurance, including charter, commercial, and personal use boats, business insurance, and travel insurance. We work hard to get you the most coverage for the best prices and guarantee the lowest rates available on all the travel plans we offer. So give us a call today at Dawson and Associates Insurance at 619-460-5615 for a free quote today.
Turner's Outdoorsman, Southern California's #1 shooting, hunting, and fishing tackle retailer since 1971, is right in your neighborhood. Now with stores throughout Southern, Central, and Northern California. No one does it better. Turner's Outdoorsman brings you the best prices and selection, plus a knowledgeable staff that will help make your day on the water or in the field more fun. Stop by your neighborhood Turner's Outdoorsman. To find a location nearest you, check the web at turners.com and sign up for special deals and more.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Really excited to have the boys in the studio this morning. I'm just hoping that my questions don't block out everybody else's.
Me too, yeah. And if you want to get through, Kyle's standing by at the fan board there, 833-288-0973. And he's standing by. One lucky caller or texter is going to win a 700 ml Graphiter Calstar.
That's so cool,
here.
too.
That's
I love hearing
I'll
that.
show you the rock right here.
Yeah.
If you're on YouTube or Facebook, check it out. It's right here in the box. You're going to be able to pick it up at Fisherman's Landing.
That's right.
Tackle.
Yep.
We'll send it over to Fisherman's Landing Tackle. You come down and pick it up, and that's your brand new rod if you're the lucky caller or texter right there. Look at that.
Pretty sweet,
Thank
dude.
you, Chris and John, very much. And really super sweet.
You know, one of the things that I wanted to talk about before we got started that I'm so stoked that you did, and I'm such a Calstar long rod guy, and I love it. And I love that you make some of the most classic factory, old school, great glass 90Js, but available in both the same way that they've always came, but also now with Fuji components. Also, like you took the most classic long rod ever made, the Calstar, West Coast 90J, but now we're offering it with Fuji guides, and then built a brand new 95 also that way. Like I thought that was such an awesome move, and we're in love with that thing at the shop.
It's been very popular.
It's awesome.
Great.
Well, I know the phone lines are packed up. Everybody's excited to talk to the boys. Why don't we start it off this morning with Alex? He's calling us from San Carlos. Good morning, Alex. Welcome to the Let's Talk Hookup.
Good morning, guys. I got 2 questions. One, can you just break down the difference between the GG and the Graphiter? And the other question I got is, I know some other companies, they'll do like carbon fiber. Is there, I just want to know, like, what is it about the way you guys do your blanks that you guys felt like carbon fiber just isn't the right move for Calstar?
First of all, it is carbon fiber, and we just call it graphite. It's just, but the technical term is carbon fiber. The GG, but the difference between the GG and the Graphiter is the amount of the composition of the glass, the ratio of glass to carbon fiber graphite. The Graphiter is more carbon compared to the glass, and the GG is more glass with a little bit of carbon and taking a little glass out. It's more designed around the glass rod, the old school feel.
The GG.
Yeah,
GG, yeah.
the GG.
And the difference in performance in your
well,
eyes?
The GG was, when it was derived, we did some calculations, some measurements on it, and it's about 30% lighter than the glass and about 30% stronger.
Wow.
Right? So pulling power wise. But you still have that softer feel for throwing bait.
Yeah.
That's what I've always, likened it to. Like if it's got that classic fiberglass feel with better lifting power, more modern components, very, very comfortable, better lift, but still has that nice, soft, spongy, very easy to hang on to in the angler's hands. Like,
so why then the GG?
That is the GG.
Yeah,
that is
okay,
the
that
GG.
is the GG. Yeah.
Classic glass feel with a little bit of weight taken out.
A little bit of weight taken out. Okay, gotcha. All right.
A little more pulling power than
versus like the Graphiter is a pure graphite and glass.
It's a combination of the two, but it's more leaning toward the carbon side, the graphite side. Right?
Yeah.
Graphiters by nature tend to be a little bit faster. They've got a little more lift to them. They're a little bit lighter, but they're different. They're not different in a better or worse way. They're just in a different way. Like when somebody came into our store and is looking for a 40-pound rod, it is very common for us to pull out an all fiberglass. Say where you're looking for an 8-foot 40-pound rod. It would be very common for us to pull out an original all glass West Coast 6480, and then also a GG 6480, and also a Graphiter 800H. And all three of those are perfect 8-foot 40-pound rods, but they're just a little different. And I always say the same thing. You don't need to be a rod component expert to know which is better. You just need to have a guy in the store, put it in your waist, and you put your hands on it and pull on all of them. Let the guy behind the counter pull all of the ones that are quote unquote right for 40 pounds. So whichever decision you make is going to be right for your line size. Now you pull on them and see what feels more comfortable, because the way Pete pulls is different from John and me. Right. And this one might, I can feel this thing in my shoulder a little bit more. And then I pull on this one. Well, this feels great. Well, those were all meant for 40 pounds. So if that one feels right, then that's the right Calstar for you.
Yeah. So the difference when you're pulling on a GG versus a Graphiter, are you going to notice more power in the Graphiter, or are you going to more, or is the GG going to be more forgiving?
Respectfully, these guys will probably answer much better than I. For what you'll notice in the Graphiter is the bend stops a little farther out towards the tip of the rod. And so and I like linking it to like holding onto a dumbbell. If you can hold a dumbbell next to your chest, you can hold it there for a real long time. You start to get your arms extended way out, you can hold it for a lot lesser amount of time. Sure. So that is the thing that you're dealing when the power is, or the bend is closer to you, you're able to hang on to it longer. When it's farther away, lesser. But that's also, you think about the amount that fish is pulling against. When that rod shuts off quicker, he's pulling against a lot more of the blade, and the rod is doing a lot more lifting when it's on the rail. So it's finding that combination that's comfortable to you and putting the heat on the fish.
Chris, John, you have input on that explanation?
Your question was yes to both. Is it more forgiving? The GG, the classic glass feel, is always more forgiving. Graphiter will feel like it's got more power when you're pulling. If you want to pull on a fish, Graphiter. Typically, when you get a faster taper rod and you pull on it, it feels like it's going to have more power. It does have more power.
Yeah. Graphiters are pretty powerful.
Yeah, but it's always great to have a good, comfortable feeling. You're in bad weather, you're fishing short top shots. Having some of that compliance in the rod is really helpful.
So you got to have both.
That's the ideally, yes, you do have to have both, and the Graphiter generally does that. I most of my rods in the bundle are Graphiters myself.
Are Graphiters,
Mhm.
but you do have some GGs in that bundle
Of
too.
course, yeah.
One of the things that I like so much about
John.
No, I was just going to say that the Graphiter has a much faster recoil. You know, the carbon will allow it to recoil extremely fast compared to a more glass. It's slower at recoiling, and the glass side or the GG will allow a little more give, say like in rough seas with a short top shot.
Yeah,
you know, you
makes
get a
sense.
little more give in it.
More give.
one of the things I like, and I watch a lot of guys who do a lot more with than I, guys like Chris and guys like Stoss and guys that have their ability to get any Calstar rod they want. And one thing you'll notice about a lot of those guys is I think some people sometimes get wrapped up in the machismo of like, I'm going to catch a big fish, so I need a rod that is just an absolute stump puller, and I want the ultimate number of X's and H's you can put on it. A Calstar rod is never going to fail on a fish. Like, it doesn't need to be this insanely heavy rod. And you watch guys like Chris or Stoss, they'll often fish really heavy line on a rod that's rated lesser than what you would assume a guy like that would fish a real big fish on, because the rod will never fail. You know, I mean, they know that it's more comfortable for them to fish. They're going to keep a bend in the rod, and keeping a bend on the fish is what kills the fish. And you know, you'll often see a guy fish real heavy line on a heavy or an extra heavy rod in a lineup that might go way deeper and way heavier. Like, they're always up to task. You know, you just need to find the rod that's comfortable for the angler, and then the fishing part just kind of takes care of itself.
Take care of itself. Well, let's jump back in the phones, Rick.
You got it, man. They are absolutely packed solid. Next up, we're going to talk to Robert. Robert's calling us from Canyon Country this morning. Robert, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Morning, guys. Awesome show as usual. So I'm wondering about details of where the reel seat ends up. Was talking to somebody about building rods, and they said they take a measurement from your elbow. Just wondering what that's all about.
John, Chris?
For me, I would say you want it from your elbow at the butt of the rod, and you want your hand to be right at the bottom of the reel seat where you could thumb the reel, basically, you know, so you got one hand on the butt. Maybe it could go an inch or two either way, depending on what's more comfortable for you. But that's how we figure it out. How we most custom guys do it too, that I've been told.
Yeah, I think that's the custom advantage of when you want to specify what your butt section is, what your foregrip is, and what reel seat specifically you want to use. That's the custom advantage. The factory Calstars are set up for the average 6-foot person, etc. And for me, the factory rod, the butt section is too long for me. I fish a much shorter butt section on my own rods.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
but that said, you know, any competent store like Fisherman's Landing Tackle, you pull the butt cap off, you trim the hypalon, you trim the blank, and shorten that up, and get the right fit in there for yourself.
Oh, really? So you could take a ride rod off the rack and then just do a little customization for a short guy like myself.
Yep. We have people doing that a fair amount.
We make adjustments to factory rods all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a very easy thing to pull off. I had a question kind of off of that too. How has the rail rod fishing changed grip lengths, longer or shorter? You know, I know, again, Chris, you've been fishing Calstar since it was the belt and harness days and all the way through the rail rod days. And John, you guys kind of coined the rail rod. You know, like how has the grips changed via techniques changing?
Definitely long foregrips now, and the factory Graphiters rail rods are set up with an 18-inch foregrip, but you know, you see more of my influence when we launched the GG, because we went back to a 20-inch foregrip. That's what I use, and there's plenty of rod there. I like a longer foregrip. I like to be able to put the tip of that hypalon on the rail and get a lot more back section to pull on. It gives you the advantage, right? And so a longer foregrip is what I like. So you're seeing some of that evolution there. We're going from 18 to 20s. On the GGs, and we may do that on factory Graphiters as well.
I was so excited to see that new GG rod that they came out with, kind of for that reason. My rods, the long quote unquote foregrip in the industry was always a 16-inch. 16-inch was the long foregrip, and I built all my rods with 16-inch foregrips. And then for 4 or 5 or 6 inches, the blank was all scarred up because it was never quite enough. And you're fighting a big fish. You're not, you get tunnel vision, and you're not worried about where the hypalon's at. You just put the rod on the rail and you turn the handle, and so you'd always scuff up the rod. And you could tell there was some real world influence when that new GG line came out. The guides were a little bit different. The grip was a little bit different. There was a little section, for a little protection of your hypalon on there. Like all of those things came into play when those new 773 GGs came out.
Yeah, for sure.
I love it. Hey, when we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way, including taking more of your phone calls. We got texts. We got all kinds of great reports coming up. You stay tuned. Here, listening to Let's Talk Hookup. We're live on 97.3 The Fan, as well as Facebook and YouTube Live, and that Let's Talk Hookup app.
Hi, this is Captain Ray Lopez, owner-operator of the American Angler. I've spent more than half my life aboard the American Angler, along with my partners Brian and Lori, developing a team that's as good as it gets. I've been fortunate to spend time on the ocean with so many fine people that I look forward to fishing with. We can't thank you enough for being part of the American Angler family, and if you haven't joined us, we love the opportunity to meet you. Text or call Lori at 619-223-5414 or check AmericanAnglerSportFishing.com.
Hi, my name is Chris Webb, and I'm one of the owners of Nature Fed Beef Company. We started Nature Fed to bring families the highest quality beef that you can get in Southern California. Did you know when you buy ground beef at the store, it can contain hundreds, if not thousands, of different cows? All our cows are pasture raised and pasture finished. They roam and graze on green grass miles away from any freeways, assuring low levels of cortisol and some of the best meat quality that you can get. These animals are raised in God's country, in the Klamath Basin and just outside of Corning, California. We sell our cow shares in quarters, half, and full cows. This gives you a cut from every piece of the cow, and all the meat you buy comes from the same cow. We deliver it right to your door, packaged and ready for your freezer. Let's Talk Hookup listeners can enjoy $250 off any beef order with the code HOOKUP. Give us a call at 619-324-3555 to order, or visit naturefedbeef.com. $250 off any beef order with the code HOOKUP. Visit naturefedbeef.com.
One rod has set the standard for serious saltwater anglers worldwide, and that's Calstar. From the rugged dependability of the West Coast series, the lightweight strength of the Graphiter, or the performance of the GG series, all Calstar rods are handmade right here in Southern California of the finest materials and craftsmanship. Check out the new Calstar models now available, as well as upgrades to the classic rods that you know and love. If you want your tackle to be state-of-the-art tools to get the job done right, it's Calstar at fine tackle dealers.
Have you been looking for a live bait hook that keeps live bait alive? Look no further than Japan's leading fish hook, Gamakatsu. It's the little things that make the difference, and Gamakatsu hooks drive the point home. With an absolute perfect bend and ideal barbs, your bait swims harder and longer. And when you get bit, Gamakatsu hooks bite back with a vengeance. All hooks are not the same. Go with Gamakatsu for infinite success. Gamakatsu, simply the best. Check gamakatsu.com.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Having a great time here this morning. Phones have been absolutely packed up all morning. Great text coming through as well. It's been a lot of fun. And man, as promised, it's time to find out what's biting out there. It is time for the Catch Report today, which today is sponsored by Dana Landing on Mission Bay, your one-stop shop for everything you need to go fishing, including a whole big pile of Calstars. They have a complete deli. They have beverages, boating supplies, as well as one of San Diego's most complete saltwater tackle shops. Also, check out East County Bait and Tackle and Lemon Grove Bait and Tackle with the best in both freshwater and saltwater tackle, along with live bait. Dana Landing is next to the Dana Lawn Tramp in Mission Bay. And ECBT, they're at the end of the 67 freeway at Mapleview and Lakeside. And Lemon Grove Bait and Tackle, they're on Broadway and Lemon Grove. Check danalanding.com for more info. I can certainly speak for East County Bait and Tackle when I say it is the best selection of Calstar rods. If you live out east and you're not near the water, that is the very best place to go to get a.
It's not just all about freshwater.
No doubt, man. They've got a great saltwater selection at ECBT. Yeah. Hey, with that, we're going to find out what's biting out there. We got Marcos on the line from C4 Sport Fishing. Good morning, Marcos.
Good morning, guys. How's everyone doing today?
Great, buddy. Good morning.
Well, a little bit of a down week as far as the ultimate numbers go on those trips today, but one little change that we've seen from last few weeks here is there's starting to be some yellowfin popping up in the count. We had a few Dorado pop up in the count on those 1 day and longer trips. Not a lot yet, but they're definitely there. Some of those overnight trips catching bluefin, yellowfin, and dorado, not to mention some yellowtail, all at the same time, which is, not normally what you expect catching bluefin and yellowfin at the same time, but it's there. So definitely check those trips out. Half day, still pretty good fishing there on the bottom for whitefish, sheephead, sculpin, some calico bass fishing, still picking away at those yellowtail and bonita. Actually, on Thursday, the morning trip had 17 yellowtail and 15 bonita, 16 yellowtail in the afternoon, 9 bonito. Twilight trip last night, saw some yellowtail, lost a couple, didn't get any on the boat, but they did have 15 bonito to go at the bass and some bottom fishing in there. So still some great local fishing. Full day is a little tougher. Seen a little bit of bluefin fishing offshore there. One of the boats down to Island, San goes down to Islands. Hopefully see them catch some fish there. So definitely keep an eye on the website. We put all our accounts up there. And like I said, a little bit down week in the numbers, but some nice different types of fish showing up in the accounts there. So I'm going to go out on a limb here and say the season's probably not quite over yet.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I'd say the best is yet to come, Marcos.
Yeah, I mean, and that's not a surprise. We see this, every year for the last, decade or so.
Yeah.
Sometimes those September, October trips are some of the best fishing you're going to see. So definitely don't put away your gear yet. Check the website, seaforthlanding.com. We got all our trips up there. Half days. We still got those twilight trips running Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights. Got those full days on the San Diego on the Sea Watch. We have those 1 day, day and a half longer trips there. Lots of options. You can book your reservations online there. Give us a call at the office, 619-224-3383. Come down, visit us in person, keep that gear going, make sure everything's tuned up because I was saying, there's still some good fishing to come, and definitely keep an eye on everything because conditions are shifting pretty quickly right now.
Yeah, and great selection of Calstar rods too, right there at the Seaforth Tackle Store, right, Chris?
Yep.
And John,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good
Dustin
stuff.
does a good job keeping them stocked over there.
All right. Great, Marcos. Great to hear from you. Good fishing. And like I say, best is yet to come. So get out there and go fishing. Thanks a lot. And we'll talk to you next Saturday.
Talk to you then, guys.
Thanks, Marcos.
Thanks, Marcos.
All right. Appreciate that. We're going to jump right back into the phones. This time we're going to talk to John, and John's calling us from Escondido this morning. Hey, John, welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. Great show as always. Do you guys make jigging rods, and do you make them in the acid wrap? I got a couple from Rick a couple years ago when we're just getting started, and the first one I bought, it was just a little bit short in my armpit, and but I brought it back in. Rick took a measurement and had him, be sent it out. It had 6 inches added to it. Does that change the fighting of the stick when you add something to the back of it?
Okay.
What do you think?
The jigging stick. Yeah, you knew that would. We knew that would come up. So Calstar has been prototyping jigging rods now. This is the fast jigging rods and slow pitch rods. Since May, we started. We put prototypes have been on Royal Star for a little bit, and there's one on the Liberty as well. And we are on generation 18 now with ideas for 19 and 20.
Wow.
And our thinking is a little bit different because here on the West Coast, we're jigging for tuna. We're not jigging for Asian bottom fish or Asian reef fish. And we've explored a lot of the theories around jigging rods. Acid wrap does not, it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense in my mind. When we talk to people, the people who jig a lot, the reasons for acid wrapping are not factual, right? When you test it out and it's going to get
Explain what acid wrap is.
So yeah, acid wrap is where you start on a conventional guide and you transition over in like 2 or 3 guides so that they're on the bottom side like a spinning
So they
rod.
basically turn.
They
on
turn
the
around,
different
yeah.
sides of the.
Start on the top, finish on the bottom.
Finish on the bottom.
That's the way to put it. Yep.
Yeah.
And it does help keep the rod pointed down at the fish, and you don't have to worry about twisting the blank doesn't get twisted around in your hand, or the rod doesn't get twisted around in your hand as much. But all the thoughts about it getting snagged on the guides, et cetera. If you use the Fuji K guides, the tangle-free guides, that's really not an issue. And I think you get better clearance if you want to rail the rod. You're better set to go with a conventional set of guides. So that's some influence thinking. We are moving toward a compound taper where the tip is very soft. there's a secondary transition region, and then there's a significant butt section. So when you hook the fish, it's like you're fighting it on a 5.5 foot rod. So the very soft tip section just goes straight. It's just basically following the line. So and so do we have jigging rods? I would say in a month or so, we're ready to release rods to shops and to the public.
So will your rods, so most of the jigging rods you get from manufacturers now are you point the rod right at the fish and you turn the handle and let the jigging reels do the work.
Yeah.
Is that going to be the same theory? You can actually be able to fight a fish with the rod, with your rod.
We think we want to fight it with the rail and use the rod as part of the system.
I like that.
Right?
Yeah,
huge.
I like that idea.
That's why we're
but you need some butt section to be able to do that. You need to have a compound taper, 3-phase taper, which is what we've engineered now. We got that going in probably Gen 7 or Gen 9. We moved that way, and all the iterations that John's produced since that time are all compound taper, and I really like the compound taper. So there are some thoughts that we're sure about. There's some other areas we're not so sure about, and we're gonna prototype again this next week.
Right.
And we'll keep going.
You'll be on the Calstar pulling on hopefully some big fish.
Hopefully we'll pull on some big fish, but we'll be pulling on fish, and I'll have it with me again. I'll have another prototype of Gen 17 with me again. We gotta learn, but those are some of our thoughts about where we're going with the jigging rod. But we do want to address it. It's not just a fad. It's a real thing. It does make a difference, and we feel like there's something we can offer here to our local anglers.
I think you said it very best when most of those rods were designed to catch reef fish on the bottom overseas. And that doesn't mean that people haven't caught a bunch of tuna with them, but a lot of the ones that have made their way onto our boats are just heavier versions of the same thing. This is a rod that was designed from the whiteboard with nothing, with just our tuna fishery in mind. Yeah. Not a heavier version of a reef rod. Like this was built
designed to fish tuna
the way that we fish tuna.
Right.
You know, we are ecstatic. And again, the fact that you're on version 18, that's what speaks so highly to it. Again, they could have kicked one out the door at the beginning of the summer season and taken advantage of the buying time of the whole year. But that's not what a Calstar is. They just don't come out until they're perfect.
Well, you think about how our fishery has changed. We used to go fish bluefin, and then you'd fish during the day, and there they were. They wouldn't bite. It's like, okay, sure enough, let's go to bed. Now you fish at night.
Yeah.
And that's where you catch bluefin, right? That's just the way it is. So it's changed. The whole industry has changed. So you guys are adapting with that.
Yeah, there's a need for that. And what's interesting, you've talked to every crew member on every boat, and what they say is once we start getting some of that mid-grade fish, 120 pounds or more, we tell them to put their jigging rods away, because I can't tell you how many crew members said we lose so many big fish on those short jigging rods because they just can't control the fish.
Yeah.
We don't want that to continue to be the case. We want to be able to fish jigging rods and be able to land some of these mid-grade 150-pound fish or so, and be able to have some say-so with that fish instead of the fish just pulling you all over the place and actually they lose a lot on the boat.
Yeah. You're going to be able to put this thing on the rail, put your weight behind it, lift that fish, control them like you do with a Calstar.
Right.
Yep. But it's not going to be like the rail rod is a fantastic fish fighting tool. Right? If you want the best fish fighting tool, go with the rail rod. You're going to compromise a little bit. It's not like it's not going to be like fishing a Graphiter 775 and bossing that fish around. But it's a great opportunity to be able to fish jigs and be able to handle bigger fish.
I love
fish
it.
Tuna.
And you said your favorite Calstar rail rod is the 765
775 H or XH.
Excuse me, 775.
Yep, I have several of each, H and XH.
H and XH. You don't go double XH.
I have two of them.
Yeah, but you like fishing that H and
XH. If I'm fishing heavy, 130 pound, I fish the XH.
All right.
Yep.
When do you said you have a couple double X's? When do you make that switch? You're on a long range trip, and what is it that changes when you would fish a double XH? Is it the size of fish? Is it the technique? Is it the type of bait you're fishing?
I built those for kite fishing, and that's what I use with my 80s or my 80 Narrow. I fish the double XH for that.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Hey, when we come back, we got more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way, including checking in with our private boater buddy. Captain Mark Wish is going to have our private boater report with our fishdope.com info.
We wonder what other rod info we'll have.
Yeah, no doubt, man. We got another full hour coming your way on the Let's Talk Hookup app, as well as Facebook and YouTube Live. We will check in with you on the other side.
This is Pete Gray to tell you about my fishing buddy Dan Hume and his amazing company, Hume Termite. As you know, Southern California is infested with termites. It's a constant battle for anyone who owns a home, and that's where Hume Termite come in. They're strictly termite experts. They start with a thorough inspection to find out why you have termites in the first place, then recommend sustainable treatment options that work. Hume Termite has been controlling my termites for years, and I have recommended them to numerous friends. Did you know 99% of termite companies are commission-based? Not Hume Termite. They're all salaried employees, and with a thorough inspection, they'll help you solve your termite problems, not sell you something you don't need. Let Dan and his crew earn your business through customer service and trust. It's swarming season, and now is the time to call Hume Termite at 760-598-2201. They'll come out and give you honest answers to solve your termite issues. Check HumeTermite.com.
This is Rock Cod Rick for Adventure and Camping, where they bring the adventure to you. If you enjoy camping in the Eastern Sierra but don't own an RV or a trailer, or simply don't want the hassle, let Adventure and Camping park it for you. Check out their website, adventureandcamping.com. Select from over 75 campgrounds they serve. Decide on a trailer floor plan that fits your needs. Request a quote for your desired vacation dates. Then just show up and start your adventure. Adventure and Camping makes it so simple. They deliver the trailer to your spot and you enjoy a clean, spacious trailer. When it comes time to go home, just close the door and drive away. It doesn't get any easier. If you enjoy camping in the Eastern Sierra but don't want the hassle, Adventure and Camping is for you. Check out adventureandcamping.com for details. Make sure you mention that Rock Cod Rick sent you for a special price. adventureandcamping.com.
For local or long-range fishing, we have you covered. Hi, this is Doug Kern from Fisherman's Landing Tackle, the saltwater tackle professionals. Being a part of the San Diego Sport Fishing Landing gives us a distinct advantage when it comes to getting you on the latest and hottest tackle for your trip. Our expert staff knows exactly what you need for your long-range or local trip, and we will not sell you something you don't need. We carry a huge inventory of the right tackle. So visit us at Fisherman's Landing Tackle at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego. The name that stands out among anglers is Fisherman's Landing, your top choice in local and long-range fishing. Our hardworking crew will make your fishing experience one to remember. We offer the finest open party trips from 1 to 3 days, the best charter boats available, and of course, our world-renowned long-range fleet is second to none. All our open party trips can be easily booked online at fishermanslanding.com or give us a call. I'll see you at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego.
Do you know why 1 million customers visited Summit Gasoline last year at the San Diego Sports Arena? Because they give you the lowest price on fuel, great service, and easy access, even for trucks and trailers at their 24 pumps. Summit is known for the best price on ice, too. Almost half the cost of any other vendor. 25 pounds for just $3.99. Martha and her crew love fishermen, and they'll prove it by giving you 100 pounds free with a 35-gallon fill-up. Summit offers over 40 snacks and drinks to choose from for only 89 cents, and even a line of hand creams and lip balms for 89 cents too. Summit now proudly offers locally made burritos and sandwiches, made fresh daily and ready to go wherever the current takes you. Summit just upgraded their car wash, and for a limited time, get a deluxe car wash for only $6. Grab the wife's car, grab a cheap sandwich, and make up for the day on the water. Summit Gasoline, lowest prices, friendliest staff, easy access, and free ice. What more can you ask for?
Now it's time for more of Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk hookup. Get ready for more of the best fishing information and the hottest tips on improving your angling skills. Let's Talk Hookup is sponsored in part by Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup. Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. And now, Southern California's sports fishing voice, the hosts of Let's Talk Hookup, Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Maxa, and Corey Sandin.
Welcome back. Hour number 2. Let's Talk Hookup right here on the Let's Talk Hookup app, YouTube and Facebook Live. Pete Gray here, along with Rock Cloud Rick Maxa. We're in the world headquarters of Let's Talk Hookup here, right next to the San Diego Landing. It's a pretty busy day. Royal Star just unloading a great catch this morning and preparing for Chris to get on board soon. All kinds of good stuff there. Great job from these guys. Chris and John from Calstar are here talking the best rods in the world and how they manufacture and all the different things that they're doing now to make things even better. It's pretty awesome. So pretty excited, and they came bearing a phenomenal prize for one lucky caller or text.
You're not kidding, man. What a great show this has been already. We got another full hour. We're going to be talking Calstars today. Lots of great information. I love the technical side of this. They're always my favorite fishing rods, and then finding out what makes them your favorite sure has been a lot of fun. And man, Pete, you weren't kidding. An amazing gift, and big thanks to the generosity of the whole family at Calstar. One lucky caller or texter at the end of today's show is going to win a brand new 700 ml. It's one of my absolute favorite Calstar Graphiters. A beautiful 7-foot, 25, 30-pound live bait rod. Great. 20, 25, 30. That mix is going to be yours at the end of today's show. As always, it'll be decided by a coin flip whether the winner comes from the caller side or the texter. And if you want to text us here in the second hour, the only way to send in a text to Let's Talk Hookup is through the Let's Talk Hookup app. If you don't have it already, you should download it. It's the easiest way to send in, the easy and only way to send in your text questions. And again, when you do, make sure you include that contact info, because if you win that 700 ml, we want to make sure to get it to you.
Yes, sir. And you're going to pick it up at Fisherman's Landing Tackle.
Yeah, we'll have her.
Go by and say hi to Rick and the boys at Fisherman's Landing Tackle. You can go by and pick it up.
We'll have it ready for you. Yeah. Hey, as promised, we're going to find out what's biting out there. We got the man, our private boater buddy, Captain Mark Wish of Pacific Edge, is standing by. And today, that catch report sponsored by the Fish Pros at Fisherman's Processing in San Diego, where you get the premier processing experience. Check out the easier online system to book your processing orders for your long-range trips. With more team members, Fisherman's Processing stays far ahead of the rest. More same-day capacity, the finest in customer service. You can stop by their location in Old Town on Taylor Street or check fishermansprocessing.com. Be sure you make your reservation today.
Patrick G. Brought me a fish back from his last trip, a nice yellowfin, and had it processed at Fisherman's Processing, of course. And oh, my.
It's nothing so like good. It, man.
Yeah. It's like table ready. And when you go on the Royal Star this week, the cool thing about when you go on certain boats like the Royal Star, you never have to touch your fish.
Goes
when
right
you're
in the toe.
back at the dock. Right back from their ice hold into the ice hold at Fisherman's Processing, and then
That's
you
great.
go pick up perfectly filleted and vacuum packed fish in about an hour. Right,
Ready to eat.
Yeah,
it's pretty slick
awesome.
deal. Cool. Hey, with that said, we got him standing by, our private boater buddy. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Ricky and Pete, Chris, John. What a great show. And Chris, I got to tell you, it was just awesome with you stopping by yesterday and let me pull on them new blanks and see all that new cool stuff, man. Oh, my God. It was just great.
What do you think, Mark?
But, you know, that new 270, I just, you know, pulling on that, you know, like you guys are talking, so definitely a little softer than the standard Graphiter feel, a little more glassy feel, and it's old school. It just feels good. It's going to cast an anchovy and a sardine perfectly. And another application is going to be for fishing squid for sea bass, man. It's just going to have that soft, gentle touch. So yeah, it's going to be a real winner for you.
Is it going to be your go-to rod over the 800 XL?
Well, you're pushing the limit.
Well, he ordered some yesterday, so.
Yeah. Well, some stock rods and a blank to wrap for myself. So, we'll be definitely fishing that. And then I got to throw this out now, but when I finish the report, I'm going to tell you a story about 700 mLs you guys might not know, because that's the other rod that I worked really close.
The rod we're giving away today. Yeah.
When I heard you say 700 ml, I'm going, oh my God, that is like the coolest little rod ever for so much stuff.
Wow.
But anyway, I think we're supposed to do a fish report here.
Yeah. Tell us what's going on out there.
Yeah. So, you know, we're like late summer and a lot of fish around. And this week was a bit challenging in many respects. We had some weird weather there earlier with those squalls and a lot of wind, and still a little breezy offshore and more coming. So we're going to have to pay some dues, it looks like. But as of some reports, you know, mostly blown out at the upper islands, and the same with San Nick and Santa Barbara on the outside there. Just that weather's just been grumpy. There's just no two ways about it. no meaningful reports at all from there. Over at Catalina, that island's had a bit of a rebound, a little resurrection. A lot of times midsummer it's kind of slow, and it seems like it's kind of bouncing back a little bit. A lot of kelpine critters biting. All that inshore stuff is doing its job really well, and then a pretty good shot at some nice grade yellows here and there. Take a look at the backside east sector, guys. If you're back there making your bait, making your squid, the structure spots just inside of that's where some of that bigger yellow has been. And it's definitely around, and also around is like way too many seals, so you just got to deal with it. Just is what it is. But a little bit of yellow scattered around for sure. Or at Clemente, still some good grade yellows on the bait grounds. That's still the gift that keeps on giving, that area in the cove there. Good grade yellows on that, mostly biting in the dark, but there's still plenty of bait to be made. Make your bait there, fish through, shortly after daylight, and then go looking around for whatever else you're doing. There's been some yellows up the back also in the Lost Point sector, but a little bit of weather you got to deal with up that way for sure. Scattered yellows on all the structure spots on the front, and you got the good bass fishing and blessedly calm conditions there compared to the back. And offshore, this week we saw a little uptick in that yellowfin situation. I mean, no giant hits yet, but mostly in that area below the border, that 371, 425, 390 upper hidden bank sector is the area to look. And, stuff popped up, and some guys definitely scratched out some fish, and hopefully it keeps going there. But, what's nice about those yellowfins, they're biting the jigs. You can get a troll stop, throwing a halco or Rapala, or of course the old standard cedar plugs there. And then on the bluefin zone, the fish dope plane was up yesterday and found kind of a new area from the top of the 43 proper up to the northwest there, 6 or 7 miles. There was a nice spread of fish up, fish foaming, and not a boat in sight. So I'm sure there'll be some coverage today. Hopefully this wasn't moving. It was going to hang out for a little bit there. And then I got to mention the marlin fishing for the guys in the Masters there. Good luck to all my friends that are fishing in the tournament there. And that area is mostly from the 286 above the west end of Catalina, down the front side, down to the A bank pretty much is where most of the fish have been here for several weeks now. And it looks like it's going to stay. And hopefully that stuff keeps biting and guys do well in the tournament. So good luck to all you guys. So, and then here's a little story for you. Got to tell you a little story.
Is this the 700 ml story?
This is coming from the archives. We're going back into almost ancient history. But when I was talking to Leon, he'd come out with a 700L, M, and H, and I just had a feel that I wanted something kind of in between an L and an M for marlin bait caster. And so I bounced it off, and he said, well, let's fool around with it. You know how Leon was, he just was pretty amenable to those ideas. So we went through 3 or 4 different changes. And on the one, the 4th iteration, which is the one that's production today, as far as I know, I was field testing that, anchored on the Farnsworth Bank, flying a kite, fishing a double trouble sardine rig with that 700 ml for yellowtail on the bank, and a shot at bluefin, because most people don't talk about it, but there's often bluefin hanging around the Farnsworth. And I did not hook any bluefin or even see any that day, but I did catch some yellows. And I went back to Leon and said, this is it, this 700 ml. I love this rod. So, and
remember
I
that,
still
John?
got.
Yeah. You remember that? Yeah. Yeah.
The XL too.
Yeah. Mark used to come into the shop a lot and hang out with you guys, right?
Yeah. Mark is the one that I basically call the 800 XL Mark's rod.
Mark's rod. Yep.
Yeah.
That
It's
is
the worst rod.
Oh yeah.
I've always loved
that rod's
my
caught
favorite
a lot
rod.
of sea bass.
It's caught a lot of everything. I have caught sea bass, tuna, yellowtail. I mean, everything with that rod. I love that rod.
I love too that you guys never steered away from, like Mark saying, you came out with the line originally. There was an L, there was an M, and then there was an H. It's like, wow, and you little tweak, and all right, well, let's make an ML and then an MH, and there was nothing between an XL and an L. Let's make an XLH. Like I love that, you know, Calstar has never been afraid of making the perfect niche thing. If the, you know, if it's needed, you guys make it.
Okay, I have a question for John. What's the difference between an 800 XL and an 800 XLH?
A little more carbon moved up in patterns.
In the pattern.
Closer
Okay.
to
So
the tip,
little
yeah.
more tip.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
a little
that's-
more pulling power.
Right.
That's not a moving the mandrel. That's a moving the material.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Interesting.
Let's give it a little more control. on
Okay.
it.
Yeah. That's a great rod too.
That's
really good.
Yeah. All right, Mark.
Fun,
Well, of
Mark.
course, fishdope.com. They have the stuff. You really need to pay attention to fishdope.com for weather, for bait, for fishing information. $30 off a new membership to fishdope.com using the code Hookup Now. Lowercase, no space. Hookup Now is your $30 code. And how do we find you, Mark?
Well, Pete, we're in Huntington Beach. We're on the corner of Bolsa Chica and Edinger. And the phone number at the store is area code 714-840-4262. The website's PacificEdgeTackle.com. And, God, it's still time to go fishing, guys. Get out there and catch a few,
Why
man.
not?
That's
Let's
it.
go.
Why
Yeah.
not?
This is our time. This is the time we go. Let's do it. Mark, appreciate that report. We'll talk to you next Saturday.
Thanks, Mark. Have fun.
Fun story.
You
too.
got it, guys.
See you,
Good
Mark.
stories.
We'll see you.
Hey, man, it's time. Power your boat with Norris Lithium. It's the ultimate choice for marine adventures. Norris delivers unmatched starting, trolling, and marine electronics power. Norris batteries are packed with cutting-edge technology. You can upgrade your marine power today. Set up your system at norrislithium.com or check with the trolling motor doctor. Had a fun text question to go through. It says, good morning, guys. Can't say enough good things about Calstar. It's such a great product, and I'm so happy that it was put in the hands of Chris. I have had the same 6480 since I was 14. I'm now 39, and I've already rebuilt the rod once, and it's still perfect. I'm looking for a 10-foot jig stick blank and wondering what the two of you like in the world of 10-footers. I'm kind of leaning towards a 100 mag. I already have a 90 mag, and I'm in love with it. Thanks for everything. That's from Rory and Lakeside.
Wow. Man, if Rory likes a 90 mag, I'd say 100 mag, 100 J mag.
Wow.
Yeah. But
Okay.
but what do you think, John?
I don't know. Ask Rick about the 100J mag. What do you think?
That is my long rod. I mean, I love it.
That's a long rod.
I couldn't agree more. That's the rod. It's the rod for me. My first cool jig stick I ever owned was a Calstar 100J. I still have it. It lives at the landing and has been passed around to everybody. Like it was the landing rod that we would, when somebody would come down to test a jig, or they brought a new prototype jig, we would always tie it onto that rod and cast it off the dock. And any of our summertime kids that were going fishing who didn't have a long rod, like it still lives at the shop all the time, and it still fishes great. But 100 mag for me is perfect because it fishes on a private boat just as good as a sport boat. It's you can make a fast cast with it. It's light. It's a Graphiter, so it's got good lift. If you're, we're asking a lot more of surface iron rods in 2025 than we did 20 years ago. The old rod used to just have to catch a calico bass and a yellowtail and a barracuda, and that was it. And now the same rod that I fish La Jolla in hopes of catching a yellowtail with, the very next trip, we might cast it on a foam or bluefin and try to catch an 80-pounder, and that rod just does it. I love it. I don't think there's a better thing than that 100 mag.
All right, let's continue our catch report. Rosie or Jeff Flowers? Who do we have this morning from Cedros Sport Fishing?
There's Rosie.
It's
It's
Rosie.
Flowers.
Yeah, she texted me at
Rosie.
6 o'clock this morning and said Jeff's going to do the report today. But obviously Jeff's
Yeah,
still
and
sleeping
you know
or
what?
something. Right?
It was such a blessing. The plane is actually early today. There was a little bit of weather heading up our way, and we were watching that. We always watch the weather, but we were definitely watching the storm that, kept on getting downgraded. So I was wondering if I was going to be in a delay here, but actually the plane took off early. It's going to be early, and our new group is going to get down there early.
There was that tropical storm. It was a hurricane, tropical storm. It was headed just south of Cedros, and I thought, oh boy, that's trouble.
Yeah.
And then it kind of got downrighted. So you guys never lost a fishing day?
We not only did we not lose a fishing day, but if you go to any of my social media, you will see that yesterday, every boat in our fleet got limits of white sea bass, and it was Mexican limits of white sea bass, and it was a gorgeous gorgeous day.
Wow.
It was unbelievable.
That's so cool,
Wow,
Rosie.
so good. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
watching that hurricane tropical storm moving up, and I was like, oh, I was feeling for you guys. And I know Ron Lane's been down there too, and hanging out, and it's like, oh boy. And then I just saw it just like fall apart, and it was just like, oh great, those guys are going to be.
Literally just
Yeah.
did that.
Yeah.
I was talking with the owner of the airlines 2 days ago, and we were, slowly watching the turn, hurricane, tropical storm, tropical depression, just turning into nothing. And we got no wind, no rain, no nothing. So we feel
Rain.
very blessed.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
great
That's
news,
really
Rosie.
great.
Yeah.
Hey, so what else is
And-
going on besides limits of white sea bass?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. If anyone is heading down soon, please just, I want to say that these white sea bass are biting just about anything, and they are. We're catching them anywhere from white flukes, white swim baits. Believe it or not, we had a gentleman that was down a few weeks ago. He caught his on a surface iron. We had someone catching it on a yo-yo that, the red tip of the head and the rest of it was white. But it's like it's the year of the white sea bass.
Great.
I've got lots of guys that we call it getting the trifecta. They're getting their white sea bass, their halibut, and their yellowtail all in one day. And what's really the nicest thing about all of this is the fishing is so close. It is literally just right off of the salt transport facility.
Wow.
And they're getting all of that literally right there. So they are
5-minute ride away.
It's the craziest thing you've ever seen.
Yeah.
I was like, I would have, I've been thrilled the last few years with the halibut bite, and the yellowtail are there, the calicos are there, all of that is there. But this year with the white sea bass, it has just been unprecedented at not only how close they are, but how everyone is catching
And
them.
how it's continuing
these are bucket lists.
through the fall
Yeah.
here. Normally it's a spring
Yeah.
fish, and it's continuing.
So yeah, we had 3 divers come back, last week, and they said it was just unbelievable. They go down there, they said it is like an aquarium. They said as far as you could see, there were white sea bass.
Wow.
So
Pretty
not
awesome.
sure what's going on, but we'll take a few.
Take it.
This is about the most excited I've heard Rosie in a minute. White sea bass fishing is pretty special, and you can hear it in your voice, Rosie. It's just awesome. Glad to hear and see how fantastic the trips have been going. I mean, what else does that place have to kick out, man? It's a really, really special place you guys get to fish. This is
Yeah,
awesome.
for sure. Well, what if
And
somebody
it's
wants
so
to come?
consistent. It's so consistent.
Yeah.
So
What if somebody wants to come down there and go fishing? Are there any spots left available here in the fall season?
I still have a couple onesie-twosie spots, so yes. And I'm starting to put up the 2026 schedule. And if anybody wants to get a hold of us, you can always look on the website at cedrosportfishing.com or give me a buzz at 619-772-7570, and we'll go over all of your questions there.
All right. Very good, Rosie. Thanks a lot. Cedros Sport Fishing, and we will talk to you next Saturday. Who knows how good it could get.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for the call. Appreciate that very much. You have another good text. huh?
I thought so. Yeah, I've been kind of starring a few of them through here, but this is my favorite. I'll pull it right back up here.
There's a lot of them, man. It's like 50, 100 texts. I don't know. Lots.
Good morning, guys. Big thanks to the Calstar team for coming and providing us with such fantastic information. Was wondering what specs you consider when you're building the perfect yo-yo jig rod. What are the attributes that you look for? What, in your opinion, is the perfect line size, tip size, etc.? And that was all from John in San Diego.
Wow.
That's a big question.
Yeah.
Everything has changed for yo-yo fishing over the years, right? It used to be 660H or whatever when I was in high school, and all glass. Now, and then it changed to a 6.5 foot, like the 765s when we came out with the Graphiters.
Okay.
Considered yo. Now guys are yo-yoing with 8-foot rods.
Yeah. I know my rod when I was growing up, my yo-yo jig rod was a 64, 65 heavy, 6.5 foot, 50 pound, maybe 60 pound type rod, and a yellowtail special, a 4.0 narrow with high speed gears in it. Now my rod, I fish a 7400H. I think another one of those rods that has lesser popularity and one of the coolest rods that you make. I think a 7400H is a rod that not a ton of people think about, and it's one of my favorites. It's a 7 foot. To me, it's a 7 foot 50 pound rod, and I love it. A little bit faster taper, so the whole rod's not winding up when you're winding the jig. Right. And I always fished. Originally, I fished a Trinidad 40 with it, and then I kind of swapped back to a Trinidad 20. Like I liked that the reel fit in my hand a little better, even though it wasn't as tall. Like I felt like I could turn the handle better. And now I've switched yet again. And my favorite setup is that rod, the 7400H. And I took one of those Osea Jigger 4000s and I got rid of the jigging handle because the post is the same size as a Trinidad. And I put a Trinidad 30 handle on it. And it's almost like making a Trinidad 40 narrow, but has a traditional handle that I can still turn real fast.
And incredible
Dude,
power.
I'm telling you, that's the one.
Wow,
that is
okay.
the one. It's light. It's comfortable. It's a 7 foot rod. Can handle a fish of any size, but you still got a handle you can turn real fast. The reel's narrow, so it doesn't walk on you. It is
insane.
For me,
power.
yo-yo jig fishing, that's it. It's my favorite.
That's a good
I think the 7400 is a good platform to use too, because it loads up really quick when you get bit. You can keep the fish up out of the rocks
totally
easier.
So explain,
right.
Explain the nomenclature. 7400. So 70 means 7 foot,
It's
right?
Right. It's a 700H. That particular one,
Right,
is a 700H on a different mandrel.
Okay.
Which we refer to as a 540 mandrel. Right.
Okay.
So
bigger, larger diameter.
Larger diameter. Just more beef to it.
Right.
Yeah, more graphite, more glass, more everything.
Oh, same amount.
Yeah, no, it's
same amount. It's just classic, like we were talking about earlier. I just changed the mandrel.
Oh,
so it changes the taper.
The taper, okay,
right? So it's faster,
just more power.
So it's very similar to a 700H, which is the classic rod that everybody thinks about for a 7 foot rod. It's a little bit faster. It's a little bit beefier. I love it. It's it's such a cool rod. 7400H. That's my go-to yo-yo. But like you said, Pete, there's yo-yo jigs or John, yo-yo jigs have, I mean, you've always made the right thing. And again, that's another classic one where it's different things to different people.
Right.
There's not a lot of need to fish a long rod when you're yo-yo jig fishing. You're not needing to make a lot of casts, but the way we fight fish is different nowadays. Laying the rod on the rail, people like the extension from the rail, outboard. So you're not, if you do hook a big tune on it, you're not worried about the thing spinning up. So we see guys fishing 8 foot rods for yo-yo jigs, but for me personally, 7 foot is like the perfect balance.
Yeah. So Chris in Scripps, speaking of rods, he's got a question about a popper rod. Good morning, guys. Question for Calstar team. What blanks would you suggest for popper fishing with a Tranx 500 using 60 gram or 80 gram poppers?
Wow.
What do you use for a popper rod, Chris?
Probably an 800XH, something like that, for 50 or 60 pound with a popper like that, because you might hook a bluefin. I mean, I think he's fishing bluefin on that.
Probably.
Yeah.
Bluefin or yellowfin.
I think an 800XH. You could go to a H if you want more tip and be able to cast it. The challenge with a popper, of course, is being able to cast it, load up the rod and cast it out there. So you could do that. You could go with a 6480H, maybe. Would they be a little lighter? Glass veil.
There's another one that I built for Pete a while ago that's again less like it just kind of fell out of the popularity, but it's that 850 Graphiter series, and we built an 850H. It's long enough that you get a good cast, not so long that it kills you. That was a cool rod, and we went that route just because we wanted a blank diameter that was skinny enough that we could put a reel seat on it. Keep it pretty darn lightweight. We need a John Brainchild of like a 6480 and a half, a 60, like some kind of a lightweight thing. But yeah, there's a lot of really good options for popper stick bait type casting.
I get an influx of orders from dealers asking for 800 XHs and double XHs uncut. Right. So that'll bring it up to almost 8.5, 8'5", 8'4.5". And I asked him, what do you use as a popper rod?
Popper rod.
Yeah.
Totally.
800 XH.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the reason I said 800 because I think with the Tranks you want a real seat. And we don't make the factory 850 with a real seat. It's a cork tape rod.
Yeah.
But the diameter is skinny enough that it
could.
still fits a 26. You don't have to put a big giant bomber real seat on there.
down there, no problem.
That's what we built for Pete was that 850.
Yes.
And it's skinny enough that you still fit a real seat on it, but you can cast it a long ways.
Yeah. Yeah. But you can also get that aftermarket clamp for the Tranks too.
Sure.
Right? If you want to do that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Tiburon, Duran, they make a couple of really good ones and it'd go right onto a factory rod, no problem.
Yeah. All right. Another rod question here from Steve in Monrovia. He says, fantastic show today. Chris and John, as a rod builder and a fisherman, I'm in the middle of updating my rod selection. What suggestions for 3 rod blanks for 40, 50, and 60 pound bait fishing for San Diego boats?
Wow. The ones that I gave are, I'd have to recommend what I use. 875H for 40, 875 XH for 50, and a double XH for 60. That's what I would use now.
And so you're all 8-foot rods.
7.5. Those are all 7.5.
Those are all 7.5.
Yeah, I've evolved to a lot. Most of the rods in my quiver now are 7.5. Just like a great length. Fits under the apron of most boats like Shogun and Royal Star, Royal Polaris, etc. And then it's a good length. Stays away from the boat, no problem.
Nice
so I like 7.5s.
7.5. It doesn't. It's not so long that it's going to really kick your butt, but you've still got the power, and you can stay out. If the thing gets up and down, you can still keep it off the boat.
You could, And then if you want a more glass feel, we have the GG now, 6475, 6475H, available in factory rods. Those would fish great too. A little softer, more glass feel, and a little better price point.
So on the GG series for an older guy like myself, right? Since I just turned 70.
You're not that old, Pete.
Well, I just turned 70, so I'm feeling a little older. But I'm still trying to keep young. That's
young at heart.
But that's the idea. Is that better for a guy that doesn't have the power that he used to? A GG series, or you still want to stick with that Graphiter?
Well, you're gonna use, if you use a rail, who cares?
Yeah,
right?
Well, that's true.
Let the Calstar.
The rail is your friend.
Yeah.
Rail's your friend.
Yeah,
that's right.
For sure. So you still like to stick with the Graphiter series?
That is what I choose. Yeah. But there's nothing wrong with the GG series or even like a 670H or something like that in a 7-foot.
Yeah. What about you, John? What's your rod of preference there?
Wow, that's kind of. I'm in love with the for 40 pound. I love the MH. I love the 800 MH. I love the 90J. I love the glass feel of the 90J. And the 6480.
Yeah. But are you a Graphiter guy or a GG guy?
That's what I'm trying to say. It's a mix. It depends on
you have
what
a mix.
I'm using it for. It depends on what I'm using it for. I will say that the GGs are a lot more forgiving.
Yeah.
And the glass too. That's why the longer the rod for me, the more glass I want in it.
For me, at 40 pound, GG 6480. That is the weapon. It's like an extension of my hand. It is my favorite. And I'll fish it with everything. GG 6480 casts a Colt Sniper great. It fishes a live bait fantastic. You could dropper loop a sea bass with it. You can fly line up a bluefin with it. I love it. We always say
6480 is a
8-foot
rod.
It's an
8-footer.
Yeah. 8-foot 40 pound rod. But that GG is a little softer, a little spongier, a little slower, very comfortable to hang on to. We always say there's no such thing as an all-purpose do-everything rod, but to me, a GG 6480 is about as close as you come. One of those and a 278-foot heavy, and you can catch just about everything that swims in Southern California.
Yeah. 6480 it's a very popular rod.
I love it, man. Yeah. I love that thing.
And the 800 series is very popular. I should have said, if you want to go the 8-foot rod, think about the 800 series. H, XH, double XH.
The Graphiters.
Graphiters.
Yeah.
They make too much good stuff. That's
it gets confusing, and it gets confusing for me. I can't imagine with our listeners how confusing it is with all the different numbers. Is there any motive to the madness of numbers and rod numbering? Like 6480. I hear 6480. I think, is it a 6'4" rod or is it an 8-foot rod? Explain that number.
Jay, John, I butchered this question last time. You got this one.
I'm trying to remember when the 6480, that was a Kenny Talau invention. He was our first sales rep. I don't know if that goes way back. And it was, he'd come in with a D8 in his hand. He goes, can we make something like the D8? Right? Oh, okay.
And that was an old
the
true
numbers
line,
itself, I do not remember how my
How
dad
it came to
up with
6480.
Maybe he used 6470 from the old Sabre days idea of how it felt. And went from there. I have no idea. I wasn't part of that, but I do remember.
So there was, before the GG series, there was a 6480 glass rod.
Right. There still is.
And there is a 6480 GG graphite end glass.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
The best number, Calstar has the best numbering system in the world with the Graphiters. It was the most plain, cut and dry, simple, easy to follow. 7 foot, 8 foot, 700M, 700H. The problem is the Mark Wishes of the world and the Doug Kearns of the world and and all the great tackle stores up and down the coast, like everybody, and all the great long range boats, everybody wants a little tweak and a little something different. And so there's faster versions and there's slower, but Graphiter is still the easiest to follow. 700, XL, M, H, 7 foot.
It's a simple one.
But there's 7.5 foot versions that came in between, and then there's lighter and heavy versions that came out after the M's and the H's, and you gotta. I think that they still do the best job of it, but there's a path to follow to get you there on all the Calstars. And it certainly makes the most sense of all the competition.
Sure.
With as tough as it might be to see, it's still overwhelmingly the easiest to follow.
Yeah.
Well, that's why the competition copies our numbers so many times.
Yeah, no doubt.
It does.
Hey, when we come back, we got more Let's Talk Hookup coming away, including a whole lot more of your text. You stay tuned. More with John and Chris from Calstar. You're listening to Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app, Facebook, and YouTube Live.
Haida Gwaii Safaris, formerly Queen Charlotte Safaris, invites you to experience the magic of Haida Gwaii Islands, British Columbia, Canada. Hi, I'm Valerie Hoprich. 25 years ago, I fell in love with these incredible islands, the breathtaking scenery, the warm community, and the truly phenomenal fishing. That passion inspired me to open my own fishing lodge, just steps from the Sandspit Harbor at Haida Gwaii Safaris. You will be fishing in pristine, unpressured waters for Chinook, king salmon, halibut, lingcod, and much more. Plus, be surrounded by untouched beauty. We pride ourselves on creating an unforgettable venture that turns first-time guests into lifetime friends. You will come for the fishing, and you will come back for the memories. We are booking now. Call us at 1-877-815-2892 or visit our website, qcsafaris.com. Find us on Facebook and Instagram. Haida Gwaii Safaris, where adventure and friendship meet.
Time to talk about great gear from Shimano. And like we were just talking, okay, what do you put on that GG 6480? I want to know.
Trinidad 20.
Trinidad 20.
Best star drag reel ever made.
No question about it. It's a Trinidad series of reels. If you want a star drag wheel, there's nothing even in the same box.
Free spool, power, control, cast, like it is the top in all of those categories. It's smooth. I still
Chris, you a Trinidad guy?
I like Trinidad. I have a few, but I'm fishing tuna. I like 2 speeds. I have a few Talicas.
Yeah, Talica. Yeah, well, the new Talica series.
I can tell you one thing. Our the first thing we did when we got our hands on that new GG 73 XXH was put that brand new Talica 40 on it, and it lives in the store and it's passed around by every guy behind the counter. We love it. That
You have to check that out.
Beast.
Check it out, Shimano, at your local Shimano dealer.
Take a closer look at the Ford F-150. You'll see hard work, a great adventure, and so much more. Inside and out, it's designed for the family, the road trip, and the most demanding job. The 2025 Ford F-150, whether it's gas, hybrid, or the all-electric Lightning, find the truck that will meet your needs. From California's best-selling truck brand, the 2025 Super Duty, the the rugged Ford Ranger, and the versatile Ford Maverick. It's time to see Ford in a new light. Visit your San Diego County Ford dealer today to see the great selection across the full truck lineup.
This is Jeff Squires from One Cool Tuna and OCT Jigs. I've known Yusuf for over 15 years, and he is the expert when it comes to real estate. He has helped me sell my condo and helped me build a financial plan for my transition to the new area. He knows the answers to the hard questions that an average guy like myself doesn't understand. Yusuf not only is a fellow angler, but he's an amazing realtor that specializes in helping the angling community find their ultimate home. If you own a home, get a free, no obligation home evaluation now online from Yusuf by typing in SoCalHomeEval.com. All you do is put in your address and you'll get that report fast. Yusuf is the SoCal real estate go-to guy. He has helped me and my friends and family find what they are looking for in their new home. He understands the real estate market like no other, so take it from me, Yusuf is the best when it comes to your real estate needs. Go to SoCalHomeEval.com and we'll see you on the water.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Having a fantastic time here this morning, taking phone calls, taking texts, lots of great info.
Yeah.
This has been a lot of fun.
10 years ago today, we lost Marty Milner. Thanks to Arnie for reminding us of that. Of course, Marty was a integral part of our show here for 11 years.
Yeah.
And and so 10 years ago today, and I remember his service up in Oceanside that I was honored to speak at, actually, and all the police officers from LA that came down, they brought cars and stuff, and he was an icon in the police officers world for sure. So Marty Milner. Yeah. And then of course you remember lots of stories about Marty. Remember the time we were at the old studios for 91X and 690, and they had the marathon coming by, and the guy, the highway patrolman says, well, you're stuck here for 3 hours.
Rock and Roll Marathon literally went in front of the driveway. Yeah. And when we started the show, there was nothing. And when we finished to drive home, they're like, that's it, man.
Yeah.
You guys are not, this is the marathon course. You are not leaving until this race is over.
Yeah.
And
the guy looked at Marty because you're Marty Milner.
Oh my God.
Follow me.
Yeah. He told him, I became a police officer because of you. And he pointed at Marty, and they gave us a police escort on the marathon course.
that was a classic Marty right there. That was great. So Marty Milner,
special guy, man.
We remember you for sure.
Miss you, buddy.
Yeah, miss you a lot for sure. You have a great text.
I thought so. This is a fun one. It says, good morning, Pete, Rick, Chris, and John. I'm a big Calstar fan. Huge thanks to Chris for keeping the Calstar name rolling. I own the following: 700M, 700H, 700XH, 770XH, and a 7470H, as well as my 90J. I was wondering two things. One, could you discuss the difference between a 770H and a 77470H? And then also, Chris, could you give me the reason why you guys choose to use Fuji graphite seats over Alp seats on your different rods? Love talking Calstar. They're my favorite rods. That's all from Cheer and Cardiff.
Johnny, you want to talk about the faster taper of the 7470?
Yeah, the 7470 is like we were talking about earlier. It's the same material as the 770. It's on what we call the 540 mandrel. It's on a faster taper mandrel. It just changes the taper, which changes the action.
Are these mandrels made out of aluminum, steel?
Stainless steel.
Stainless steel. Wow. Because they get hot.
Yeah. They've been around. They last a long time.
Do they? Do you ever have to replace the
mandrel?
mandrel?
We're in the process of upgrading all our mandrels right now. All our tooling.
Okay.
It's a big investment.
Yeah, I'll bet. Yeah, definitely. I have another great text here, and it's from Dane in Huntington Beach. And Dane wants to know, I have a rod wrapped a long time ago, a BTG 870. Love this rod. Do you make something close to that today?
GG 870. Yeah.
We make
the GG 870. It's the same rod.
The GG 870 is a factory rod. BTG 870 blank is what he wrapped right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to go back on the old question about the reel seats. We generally choose Fuji graphite reel seats if it's a lighter application. Say we think it's going to be a 50-pound rod or lesser, or lighter than that. We generally go Fuji graphite. It's corrosion free. It's lightweight. And it's a quality product. And when it's a heavier application, we go to a hooded aluminum reel seat, metal reel seat. That was the reel seat question we had on the prior call.
Okay.
So it's based on size, line size, application, that kind of thing.
Typically using a heavier reel, etc.
Got it. I had a side text come through from our buddy Ken Corwin up in Oceanside. And he says, "Hey,
Ken's
Rick,
custom reel.
yeah, it wasn't even a question for the show, but I wanted to read it because I feel the exact same way that Ken does. Hey, Rick, thank goodness for Chris and John. Seriously, what the heck would we do if there was no Calstar out there?" So, Ken obviously listening to the show, and I want to say good morning. And then that
Good morning, what a great guy.
Oh yeah,
Ken is an icon.
Yeah,
Just a solid dude.
and he's a Calstar dealer.
Of course, yes.
Yeah,
So,
of course.
and big proponent of, and
Yeah.
Yep. He gives us a lot of feedback. We listen to Ken. I mean, if there's people we're going to listen to, one of them is Ken.
He fishes a lot.
Yep.
Yeah,
He knows.
He and his boys, the Wes and the whole gang, just a great team up there for sure.
man.
Yeah,
Family.
definitely. So Jason in San Diego just got a Tranks 400. He wants to know what rod should he put on that. That's a good question.
That is a good question.
One of my favorite reels, one of a lot of people's favorite reels. Yeah.
800M with the reel seat. You got a reel seat choice there, and you don't have to worry about the clamps. The clamp is a $60 investment, right? And so I try to steer people that way to a reel seat. I mean, we're seeing more and more. Of
You
that
like the
again.
clamp over the reel seat?
No, I like the reel seat now.
I do
I
too,
used to
yeah.
always fish cork tape and
Yeah.
you know the Newells, right? They all had the screw down
Right,
reel seat, but
right.
no, I've moved a lot more personally to reel seats.
Yeah. I had that Tranks 500, the aftermarket. I didn't really like it. Much prefer that having a real seat. Yeah, for sure.
I think that we talked in the beginning of the show about the potential of small bait going forward, and the potential. Bait's back to normal. Great job, Everingham Brothers. Boxes are full.
Yeah,
no ration
thank
of bait.
goodness.
Great
Yeah.
size. All the things. Kind of back to business as usual. But again, like we said, it was our first flash of what at some point is going to be a cycle change. Hopefully, it's not for another 10 years. Who knows? But at some point, we're going to have small bait again, and I'm anxious to see what reel and rod combos become the favorite of everybody. And I know for sure that Tranks 400 is going to be in that mix. I mean, it's a great size reel. It's light. It's easy to cast. It's got a variable braking system, so it's going to be easier for people of all skill levels to cast. And on that Tranks 400, if that becomes your anchovy reel, I'm curious to Chris and John what their favorite anchovy rod would be. And I also want to know if their favorite anchovy rod has been built yet.
Ooh,
Wow.
good question.
Hey, we dusted off some 196.8 lights this year, and also pulled out the patterns. What is 690 LJ?
That rod drove me crazy. We had a customer that came into the store and said, "Hey man, I want to order this blank. It's called a 690 LJ." And I was like, "Oh man, I think you got your I think you got your wires crossed. That's not a thing." And he goes, "No, it is. I'm telling you, I got one. It's this awesome lightweight blank." And I go to the list, and I'm like, "Buddy, there's no. You got two things put together that it's not a thing that exists." He goes, "Don't tell me what doesn't exist. I promise you." Yeah, he was right. Yeah, he was right. He was right, and they made it.
So what do you think, Chris?
I think that's a great rod. That 690 LJ. I played around with the blank and I made a prototype. Mark Wish and I pulled on it yesterday, and I think that is going to be a really interesting 8.5 foot anchovy rod. But I think I would go with a GG 6480, something like that.
I currently have a 196.8 and I have a 220 and I have an 800 XL, and I would go back and forth between all those rods on what my favorite anchovy rod is.
True anchovy. Yeah, for 20 pound, I think I would wrap up one of these new GG 270.
Yeah,
GG 270.
I'm really excited about that.
One we just built.
7 foot rod.
8 foot.
Oh, that's an 8
rod.
foot.
270-8.
270-8.
Yeah, it's not in our kit. We haven't even
270-8.
Yeah, the first 12 production blanks are in process.
Do they make a GG 270-7?
Oh yeah,
Okay,
that's
so-
basically and
that's
that
already
is a-
out.
And an 8 foot. Okay,
We
the
just
8
added
foot's
an
coming.
The 8 foot's coming next
Ooh,
week or so.
that sounds really
But yeah,
good.
the 270-7 would be a great 20 pound
totally
classic subfoot rod.
Okay, I just all these numbers floating around. I have to read this text from Brian in San Diego because I can so relate to this. He says, "Great show, very interesting stuff on Calstar. I never thought I had ADHD until I listened to this show and tried to follow all the rod numbers, variations, etc. Wow, I've been taking great notes, and we'll have some of these, and we'll try some of these out." Like, so true. It's like I'm like you live this, Rick, every day. You guys live this every day. But for guys that like myself that are just fishermen and we have these rods, it's like GG2. So, why?
We plan to address this because so many people that I know, good fishermen, they're not in Southern California. They can't pull on all the rods, and we did finally get our website up. It is calstartackle.com.
Okay,
don't go to calstarrods.net. That's being held hostage by someone else now.
Okay.
But it's either Calstar Fishing will redirect you to calstartackle.com. We are still missing good descriptions of each of them. So all of this data that Rick has in his head on his experience and John and I have, we need to translate that into some descriptions on each blank and rod and what we might use it for and how to do that. It was a fair request. It's like, yeah, you're right. It's just got to get going on that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, you guys live it every day. It's Rick and everybody that works at Calstar. But for the average guy, it gets a little confusing.
Well, we carry so many model numbers.
Right.
It's like, wow, we have a lot. But everyone has their favorite. So far we've committed to keep them all in catalog.
Yeah.
I know that our shop is, we're very proud of it. We're very proud of our relationship with Calstar, and we're proud of the inventory of Calstar that it carries. But we're not the only one. There's a lot of great shots up and down the beach. We talked about Dana, and we talked about Ken's, we talked about, and the thing is with Calstar, like you only find Calstar in dealers like that, and they can sell their rods to anybody. Everybody wants a Calstar. Calstar's not available in every store, and it's done so for the reasons that we described. Is you don't need to know every X and every H and every letter. Hopefully, the experience. I know it's at Fisherman's Landing, and I'm sure it's the same way in all the premium Calstar dealers. The guy behind the counter with that knowledge of X's and H's is going to pull a lot of those rods for you to get to try. And we hinted at it before, but when a guy comes in and says, "Hey, I want to pull on a 40-pound rod," like we're going to grab 4 or 5 or 6 different Calstars of different lengths and different powers. And we know in our back pocket that all of those are going to be right for 40 pounds. So no matter what he chooses is not going to be a wrong decision for him. We just start talking about whether you fish on sport boats or on private boats, and whether you're casting or you're live bait fishing, and knowing that the rod will do all of those things, but some of them will do one part of it a little better. Maybe Graphiter is right for you, or, like you said, Pete, maybe you're, this isn't your 4th season, it's your 40th season, and you're not as much of a bodybuilder as you were 25 years ago, and you want something that's a little softer or easier to hang on to. Right. And that's the beauty of Calstar, is they have all of those bases covered. You just got to find the right niche for the right angler, and then when you do, he's in love with the rod, and he's a Calstar customer forever.
Right. Yeah. This is a funny one too. And thank you guys all for the text.
This has been fun.
Text really message, fun, and a lot of nostalgia stuff coming through, like this from Joey. He's with the Mission Bell Mafia Waymaster, he says. I'm texting from Inglewood, California. I have a Calstar blank that I've been fishing since 1995. Well, so do I too. Yeah. I had it wrapped by the legendary Yo's fishing tackle by Yo himself. And before he passed away in 1995. Yeah, that was Yo was
that's rad.
Yo had a big influence on Leon and Calstar.
Oh,
and he
yeah,
was
right.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I wanted to read this, because Yo was instrumental with Leon and yourself, right?
Days, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yo was probably helped build a lot of these rods, right?
Oh, great influence. He was a man.
Yeah. The 64. We've talked about it many times today. That 540 Mandrel, Yo was instrumental in bringing about that. Everything was like 660 on what we call a double X Mandrel. It's a little slower taper. And Yo was back in the Mickelson days, was involved with my dad to move that over to that faster taper. Which before that was kind of taboo, people were, oh man, it's church, and now everybody wants it.
Right? I have the fondest memories going to the Yo's parking lot sale with my dad and our buddy John, and like driving up, sitting in the middle of a Toyota, you know, as a little kid, driving up to see the parking lot sale and see the crew of the Royal Polaris giving a seminar at the Yo's sale. Like those are core memories I have, and fun days to get to participate in all that kind of stuff.
How have, since the Yo days and the Frank Lopez, I remember doing a live broadcast way back when in the early days at Yo's parking lot sale one time. That was a long time ago. How have the new reel, advents of the new, more powerful, smaller reels changed rod manufacturing and what you build today for those smaller reels?
Wow.
I know that's a tough question. I mean, has it changed things? I mean, do you build different rods now than you would have for a big, bulky 2-speed reel? That
I believe it started with a lot of people being able to like the Graphiter is a smaller, diameter, lighter to go along. You don't want some, big massive reel.
You think about the reels
a
that
real
the
light rod, right?
Think about the rods that Chris described at PEI, boomers and the beat, the RTs and all those things. Those were so big and so massive. And I know that that's for a bigger class of fish, but not like out of this world bigger class. We're guys on a long range boat are doing fish. Not I'm not trying to say they're 600 pounds, but giant tuna on blanks that are a fraction of the size and weight and style.
Well, those were the exact same rods that we were using in the 60s and 70s.
Interesting.
Right? And early 80s.
So,
and nothing wrong with those.
Sure.
The glasses
they still work.
Yeah. But with those big reels, right?
Yeah.
Big, heavy.
Yeah, big, like all roller guides, all that stuff. Yeah. Mono, straight mono instead of Spectra. I mean, a lot of things have changed, and you guys have adapted.
Everything's lighter now. Right?
Yeah.
Everything's like we are not introducing any new rods with rollers. Those are custom guys that don't want rollers. So typically the guides are getting smaller. You saw the new GG 773 XH launch with a 20 lead guide instead of a 25 lead guide. That was my thinking about, that 25 is just a much bigger guide, and you don't need that giant guide up there. So smaller guide, smaller reel.
Before we run out of time, I want to go back to PEI. And your trip to PEI and catching these giant bluefin.
That was a blast.
What are you using for bait? You said mackerel?
Live mackerel. Yeah, we make it during the daytime.
Are you fly lining mackerel?
We drift. Yes. One is on a fly line, kind of with a water bobble float on it.
Oh, okay.
One is a fly line, or maybe sometimes we'll put a sinker on it, and then there's a kite rod. And in my limited fishing there, we didn't see the kite get bit, but what's crazy is they fish that kite like 60 feet away.
Oh, wow.
So I'm thinking, we're going to get wet when this thing bites. We were just watching that thing, waiting for it. But hey, there's an interesting story I want to talk about PEI. So I was able to participate in taking a fish, right, a live fish. After we get it leadered, they put the tail rope on it, like, oh, we got tail rope, we got this thing now. But what they will do then is put a metal hook through the jaw that clamps shut on a heavy rope, and then we will drag that fish for an hour. It's not 45 minutes or 50 minutes. It's like, hey, we still got 5 more minutes. We're towing this thing for an hour. And they're doing that to cool the fish off, get it rejuvenated. And guess what happens with these bluefin? And it's an interesting analogy for us here is that after 15 or 20 minutes, that fish is ready to go. He's revived. Really? We're towing him at 3 miles an hour right behind the boat.
And you have a tail rope and a mouth thing.
There is a tail rope, but it's very slacked off. It's like a contingency just in case
mostly
something
just
happens.
Leading him with the mouth.
Leading him. This giant stainless steel hook goes through his jaw, and we'll tow it for 60 full minutes. After 15 or 20 minutes, that fish is ready to go. Like, he's revived. He's going to fight again. And thank goodness the rope is heavy. He comes out of the water. He's swimming to his side. He's looking around. He's ready. We tow it. So then once you do that, we might want to get another bite. So they put a spread bar out with squid's spreader bar. We'll tow it for a full 60 minutes. And it just, the point here is that, it's always good to keep pressure on your fish. If you let that fish run around and swim around, he's getting better oxygen flow across his gills. More water going through his gills just revives those fish. So again, it's always a good point to keep pressure on your fish.
I've always heard that, in the long range seminar, like if you're resting, he's resting.
So
those
why
bluefin come right back?
So why do you revive them like that?
They want the meat quality to improve. They don't want burn meat. They don't want a lot of acid in the meat or anything that might make the meat change color.
And then they'll bleed it.
They'll dispatch them.
Then they'll bleed it for another full 15 minutes, and then they'll cut the gill after 15 minutes. It's a very detailed process, and the fish is right next to the boat. So
I'm fascinated.
All about
crazy.
the quality of the meat for sure, because that's
Oh yeah, and then of course that fish went to Japan, and they're trying to get as much as they can.
And what do you think? Do you ever hear what they got for it?
I think I'll know. I'll talk to Greg and get some information on it. They know about 2 or 3 weeks, and I think the way we looked at it is nominally a $5,000 fish, could be a $10,000 or $20,000 fish if it's a home run. We thought this fish had medium fat in it. That's what they, when the buyer said it's got a little bit of fat, and maybe we'll be okay.
Yeah.
But the expenses take a lot out of it. So the fishermen, again, at bottom end of the food chain, don't get all of that money.
Sure. That's fascinating. Hey, when we come back, we got more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way, including finding out who's got themselves a brand new 700 ml. More Let's Talk Hookup coming your way in the Let's Talk Hookup app, Facebook, and YouTube Live.
Hey, anglers. AFCO Pro Captain Ben Florentino of Coastal Charters here. As a full-time guide, I'm on the water all year long. It's my livelihood. Having the right clothing is of the utmost importance, staying warm, dry, cool, and comfortable to endure whatever the Pacific wants to throw at me. Thankfully, I'm equipped with AFCO clothing to keep me dialed season after season. Do yourself a favor and check out AFCO's award-winning gear at a dealer near you, or learn more at AFCO.com.
The state-of-the-art long-range sport fishing vessel, the Independence, delivers the top quality, comfort, and fishability you look for in a long-range boat. Veteran captains Mark Bizzano and Paul Strasser built this incredible 112-foot vessel with the most modern technology and luxurious comfort available. Once you go on the Independence, you'll be back. Call Independence Sports Fishing at 619-226-6006 or check independencesportfishing.com. A top fleet and superb fishing is what Seaforth Sport Fishing in Mission Bay is all about. With free parking and fully stocked tackle shop, it's no wonder Seaforth Sport Fishing is a favorite among anglers. Come aboard top boats like the Aztec, Cortez, Endeavor, Apollo, Outer Limit, El Gato Dos, Pride, Tribute Pacifica, Pacific Voyager, and the Voyager. Plus, the new Seaforth, Sea-Watch, and San Diego offer the finest half and full day trips available. Seaforth Sport Fishing. For charters or regular open parties, schedule check seaforthlanding.com. Run by fishermen for fishermen in Mission Bay.
This is Captain Tim Ekstrom from the long-range vessel Royal Star. With my partners Randy Toussaint and Brian Sims, we have set the bar for the long-range fishing experience. Spring 8-day, summer 5-day, or fly-down, fly-back 11-day winter trip, we deliver the highest quality long-range voyage you will find. From our premium RSW fish storage to our top-of-the-line chefs and crew, Royal Star distinguishes itself from all others. Want to grab a spot on the Royal Star? Check us out at royalstarsportfishing.com or call Tracy at 619-224-4764.
Inside information is everything when it comes to catching fish in Southern California. You need a code group to connect with what's happening on the water. FishDope.com is your code group. Inside information available at your fingertips 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. FishDope.com really does help you catch more fish and burn less fuel. FishDope.com is the only fish finding service with a spotter plane, along with a crew of top anglers on the water almost every day that report actual locations and catches. They become your code group. You get daily catch reports from Point Conception to San Quintin, 365 days a year. FishDope.com has online planning tools, temperature and chlorophyll charts, hot bite icons, and more. Take it from me, if you don't have FishDope.com, you're not part of the in-the-know crowd. Membership is affordable and good for an entire year. Plus, use the special code and save $30 on a new FishDope.com membership. Check it out today. FishDope.com. Catch more fish, burn less fuel.
The lighter the bite and the cleaner the water means one thing. You need a thinner leader, more natural presentations. That's where Seaguar Gold Label leader material shines. It's Seaguar's thinnest leader material yet. That means it's even less visible underwater and creates more natural presentations for better catch rates on leader-shy fish. With exceptional knot and tinsel strength, this advanced leader material is now available from 2-pound test for fishing trout in the Sierra to 80-pound test for big yellowfin in Guadalupe. Get Seaguar Gold Label at your favorite tackle dealer or learn more at seaguar.com.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Okay, it's time to find out who the lucky winner is. That 700 ml. John's going to do us the honors, flipping the prize coin here. Let's see what we got today. Today we have a texter. Congratulations, Jason in San Diego. You are so stoked, man. Swing by the tackle store anytime you want. You're going to have a brand new 700 ml sitting there with your name on it.
Wow. And thank you, guys. Thanks for building wonderful,
guys.
beautiful rods for us Southern Californians. Thanks for that, Rod. We appreciate that very much. Now, brand new website, right?
Brand new website. Yep. Finally getting that going. We're starting slow, but we're going to continue to evolve it and make it right.
And that's calstartackle.com?
Calstartackle.com. That's right.
That's cool. Calstartackle.com is who you want to get. And then, of course, all your great dealers like Fisherman's Landing and Dana Landing and Mission Bay, ECBT and Pacific Edge. I mean, they're all over the place.
Selected dealers, right? Not like Rick said, you don't go to Big Five and buy a Calstar. It's an informed sale to a fisherman who cares about what he's fishing with.
Yeah, well, great.
Well, thank you very much, you guys. We really appreciate being here.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you
Thanks,
guys
Chris
and
and
appreciate
John.
what you do and being a part. Leon was the very first sponsor that ever signed on to Let's Talk Hookup.
I didn't know
And
that.
yeah, number one. And we're very, very, very grateful for Calstar for coming on 34 years. Actually, this
gonna keep it.
weekend, tomorrow, will be our 34th anniversary.
Hey,
all right.
Congratulations.
And Christy Wheeler from Dawson Insurance will be here to help us celebrate it.
Cool.
So thanks for listening today. Thanks to Adam for all he does. And thanks to all of you out there for all your texts, your phone calls. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 34th anniversary. Christy Wheeler from Dawson Insurance. We'll see you tomorrow right back here on Let's Talk Hookup Facebook, YouTube Live, the Let's Talk Hookup app, and back on the 97.3 The Fan. We'll see you tomorrow.
That was fun.